Hey guys, it's Allie over at Pav Yoga. I wanted to drop in and just give you a quick Christian yoga flow to help you get through some of those days that might be a little bit tough. It's a quick flow, so it's not very long, and it's also pretty gentle. So even our very beginners can use a good video to get them going. So what we will be focusing on today is Esther 4:14, which a lot of us may know as you were born for such a time as this. And it's important that we really take hold of that scripture as we move through our little practice together today, because you were born to be courageous and brave. And sometimes in some of these yoga poses, we need to open up our heart and do just that. So without any further ado, let's get started. You can take a seat here anywhere that you're comfortable. It does not matter, whatever that looks like for you. Possibly closing your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so, and just listening to the directions here for the next few moments. Whatever you choose to do is totally okay. So let's get seated. You can close those eyes if you choose. And we'll start in by taking some big deep breaths in through our nose and letting them back out through our nose. And maybe that type of breath work isn't for you today. Maybe it needs to be in through your nose and out through your mouth, and that's okay too. Finding the rhythm of your breath and what will work for you for this practice is important. And we'll take a couple more of those big deep breaths as we settle. One more breath, and let it go. And when you're ready, we'll take our right ear and we'll drop it over to our right shoulder. So we start to tilt over here. Taking a couple breaths, stretching out the side of our neck. Coming back up to the top, and then we'll go over to the other side. Left ear, left shoulder. Bringing it back up to the top, and then we'll drop our heads straight back behind, lifting the heart and rolling the shoulders back as we continue to breathe. Bringing it back up, tucking the chin in towards the chest. And then from here, we can take our hands, interlace our fingers, and put them at the back of our head, and just guiding the chin down towards the chest. Bringing it back up, reaching those arms up towards the ceiling, taking the right hand and grabbing a hold of the left wrist. So we come up and over to the side. So where are you looking? You can be looking down, you can be looking at a neutral spot, or you can be looking up. It's really up to you where you want to put your focus, but put it there for just a couple of breaths and continue to pull that arm up and over. And we'll come back up to the top, take another big reach up and switch out hands, switch out your wrists, going over to the other side. And then try to see where your focus feels the best. So it might feel good down, in the center, or maybe even looking up. It's going to be up to you today. Bringing it back up to the top, reaching the arms up straight towards the ceiling. We'll interlace those hands back behind us so it looks like this here. Trying to get those palms to touch. You might get there, you might not, it's okay. And then however we're seated, we'll just fold forward a little bit and start to work those hands up towards the ceiling to stretch out our shoulders. This might be a little intense, so take a couple of deep breaths as we continue to open the heart. Bringing it back up to neutral. Arms will reach up towards the ceiling. Now we'll go into a child's pose. So we take the knees out as far as you'd like, coming forward here, and we just snuggle those ribs down in between our knees. Allowing the forehead to rest on the floor. Maybe roll your forehead a little bit side to side. Shifting up into a tabletop. So what we have here, we've got our hips right over our knees and our shoulders right over our wrists. Hopefully turn a little bit so that you can see where I'm at. So what we would like to see in this pose is to have a nice long spine looking towards the very top of the mat. We'll do a couple of cat-cows to warm the spine here, pressing down through the hands, and I also press down through the tops of my feet, and I tuck in my tailbone and tuck in my chin. This is cat. And then we come back through to a neutral spine, and we look up now. So everything starts to shift up. Our gaze is up, our tailbone tilts up. Coming back to neutral. Let's do it again this time. Set yourself up a little bit more. Maybe we can get deeper into it. So press and round your spine. Coming back through to neutral. Take a breath in, look up. Coming back through, let that breath go. Tuck the chin into this cat. One more time, coming back through and inhaling, looking up for your cow. And then we bring it back through, exhaling, moving into cat. Coming back to a neutral spine here, reset everything. And we tuck the toes and we take our hips up towards the ceiling. This is your downward facing dog, taking those hips up and maybe moving around just a little bit. See how your hips feel, how the backs of your legs feel, taking a couple of deep breaths here as you settle in. And we'll start to walk those feet towards our hands. So whatever that looks like, maybe they're little tiny baby steps or maybe they're big steps, whatever it looks like, let's just get those feet there. And we take our feet out a little bit wider, grabbing opposite elbows for a ragdoll. Then we drop our head and we drop our neck and sway, going from side to side. Letting gravity do its thing here, pulling down your head, lengthening through your spine. Releasing the elbows, we'll bring those feet back up underneath of us, and then we rise all the way up, coming up into a mountain, reaching those hands high up towards the ceiling, and we'll bring those hands to heart center. Closing the eyes for just a moment, recall what the scripture is that we were working on this month. It's Esther 4:14, and you were born for such a time as this, to be brave, to be bold, to be courageous. Whatever that task is that you're facing, you can conquer it. Opening up your eyes, mountain, taking your arms up, reach, forward fold, coming all the way down. Halfway lift, nice flat back, look at the top of your mat, roll those shoulders back, belly button in tight, forward fold. Mountain, taking it back up, push and reach all the way, taking this big stretch. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Last one, reaching up, mountain, big and tall, all the way up, forward fold, taking it down. Halfway lift, forward fold. Bringing it up into your mountain, reach it up, and we'll sit into a chair. Coming down, bending the knees, lifting all the toes up off of the mat so that they are not gripping. And then we can gently place them back down. Coming back into this chair, maybe a little bit lower, using your legs. One more breath. Forward fold, take it down. Coming back into that halfway lift and a forward fold. Mountain, reach up all the way. And the hands can come to heart center. Finding a point that's not moving, looking at that point, using your focus, also called our drishti. That's what we do when we are focused in our balance poses. I'm going to throw a couple of these at you today. I think that you guys can do it. So what we'll start with is tree. So tree on the right side, we start to lift up this right foot. It can either stay down on the ground or we can start to lift it. It can come up as high as you'd like for it to come up. Totally up to you. Making that decision for yourself. Take a couple of deep breaths. All right, release it. We'll let that one come down. Going over to your left side. Going as far as you'd like to go here. Stand tall. We'll set that one down. Shake those legs out a little bit, maybe roll those shoulders. You can make some big arm circles, do some movement here. Hold a lot of tension and stress right there, so we want to get rid of that. One more balance pose for us before we come back down onto the mat. Today we'll do eagle on the right side. So the right arm is here, left arm stacks. Turn this way so that you can see it. It's a little bit of a bind. And then from here we take that right leg, it crosses over, and we start to squeeze those thighs in. This is your first option. Here's your second. Mountain, taking it up, reach. All right, going over to that left side. Left arm on the bottom, right arm on the top. See how we got them kind of stacked here? Good. And we take this left leg, it's wrapping, coming around. Bending deep into the right knee. Remember, this is one, or here's two. Mountain, reach up. All right, taking a forward fold, coming down all the way. And then we'll bring ourselves down to the ground as we come down for a couple of hip stretches before we call it a day. So for these hip stretches, I'm coming down with your seat all the way down to the ground. And we're going into a double pigeon. With double pigeon, we have the right leg on top and the left leg on the bottom. So I'll show you some modifications as well. So your right foot comes all the way off of your thigh. So we're here. Now it's okay if this knee is really high up. It just takes practice and patience. So we can be here. Also, if that's too much to do for that hip, you can take out your left leg and continue to stretch it here. So depending on where you decided to go, we'll take a couple of breaths. And even in the stillness, maybe you can bring back the scripture we covered today. Sometimes it just helps to be still and let our body rest. even if we are still stretching. Give it one more big deep breath in and let it go. You can take both of those legs out to the front, shake them out a little bit. And then we'll go over to the left side for this double pigeon here. And be mindful, one side might look a little bit different than the other side, so one side might be a little bit easier to get the knee down, or it might be even higher. It's going to be different, so it's okay if it is. And then we find that space here just to rest and breathe. And sometimes closing your eyes may feel the best. We have one more big breath here. And then we will take both of those legs back out to the front, again shaking them out just a little bit. Taking both feet straight out in front of you, the arms will reach up towards the ceiling. We take a forward fold coming down all the way. You might touch your toes, you might not. It's going to be okay either way. I'm going to bring it back up from here, and then we lay down. So we will take a little bit of a rest, coming all the way back down onto your mat, and it's always going to be up to you. If you want to take your legs out a little bit wider, you sure can. You can do it that way. Arms can be up above your head, or they can be down by your side. Whatever your comfortable space is here, I just encourage you to close your eyes, allowing the body to sink and settle. Becoming very aware of your breath. Noticing how your breath moves through your body. So possibly on those inhales, as we take that breath in through our nose, our lungs get full, our stomach might get big. And then as you exhale, you're releasing that air and the breath out from your stomach and your lungs. Everything starts to sink. Let it become heavy. Giving yourself a body scan. Start at your toes. You start to work your way through your body all the way up to the very top of your head. Noticing if we have tight muscles here, anything that's being squeezed. Let it be heavy. Let it fade down into the mat, into the ground. Possibly noticing what sounds are going on around you. Maybe it's a fan, maybe it's a dog. And shifting the awareness back into your body and into your breath. Feeling the rise and fall of your chest. and the rise and fall of your stomach as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Become aware of how you feel here in this present moment. Maybe some of those muscles have released. Maybe some anxiety has been decreased. And maybe none of those things are true for you today, and that's okay too. And we'll start to bring awareness back into our body, possibly wiggling the toes and the fingers. Adding a little bit of movement into the wrists and the ankles, just rolling them one direction and another. Trying to wake the body up slowly and gently. Giving yourself a big body stretch right here. Arms come up over your head and we just lengthen everything out. Taking a big breath and letting it all go. Those knees will come in towards our chest. We can give them a big squeeze in. We'll bring it up to seated, however you choose. Hands at heart center, we'll close those eyes. Being grateful for the things that your body has been able to do for you today on your yoga mat. And being thankful to Jesus for giving you this body to carry you through the things in the past, the present, and the things in the future. Be strong, be brave, and be courageous out there. Taking some time for yourself, for some self-care. And just like Esther, she was brave, but she also had Jesus with her. And that's my prayer for you. Agape.